You walk into a room with a clear purpose, something to say or grab, and then it's gone. You're left standing there, mouth slightly open, as if your brain just blue-screened in front of everyone. It's a universal reaction. You gesture vaguely at the air, acting as if the missing thought is physically hovering nearby and just needs to be scooped back in. But the harder you focus on grabbing it, the further away it slips. It feels like trying to catch fog with your hands. We usually laugh this off as having a bad memory, as if the human brain is a faulty computer hard drive that randomly deletes files. Yet that theory fails to explain why the forgotten thought almost always reappears 10 minutes later, completely unprompted, while you're doing something else. This delayed return indicates the brain archived the thought rather than erasing it. It was a deliberate, automated protocol designed to hide the information from you. This specific phenomenon is called perspective memory. It is the act of holding a future intention while you're busy doing something else, like walking, listening, or navigating a conversation. Perspective memory relies entirely on a system known as working memory. This illustrates the biological bottleneck of working memory. It has a small capacity, capped at managing roughly 4 chunks of information at once. Because of this strict limit, opening a new tab in your head requires the system to forcibly close an existing one. Losing your train of thought is a triage decision made by the brain when its capacity is breached. Physical movement is a common trigger for this active process, specifically moving between rooms and walking through a doorway. A 2011 study at the University of Notre Dame actually found that people forget significantly more after crossing a doorway than they do after walking the exact same distance within a single continuous room. Psychologists call this an event boundary. Your brain interprets a new physical environment as the start of a completely new episode. To keep your mind organized, the brain files away the previous context and dumps short-term intentions to free up space for the new surroundings. This threshold exists in conversation, too. A sudden interruption or a flicker of distraction acts as a conversational event boundary, triggering the same unprompted data dump. This happens frequently to individuals carrying a high cognitive load. These are people whose minds run several complex parallel threads at once, managing subtext, physical awareness, and future schedules simultaneously. With a 4-chunk working memory limit, their capacity is constantly maxed out. Even a slight interruption forces an immediate triage response. Anxiety complicates the biology further. This network of neural pathways shows how the panic of losing a thought creates a heightened emotional state. Stress hormones like cortisol attack the prefrontal cortex, causing physical interference with the neural pathways required to retrieve the lost intention. Caring too much about remembering actively causes forgetting. It is a self-fulfilling loop that targets individuals already carrying a heavy mental burden. The forgotten thought eventually returns because your cognitive load has decreased. Once you relax, the brain reverses its triage decision and unarchives the stored intention. You can use context-dependent memory to bypass this limit. Walking back into the original room re-engages the specific environmental cues present when you first formed the intention. Saying the intention out loud or writing it down immediately creates an additional pathway that doesn't rely on working memory alone. These strategies leverage the brain's physical architecture to counter its automated triage protocols. Doorway amnesia and mid-sentence blinkouts occur regardless of age or personal organization. Consistent focus often stems from having fewer simultaneous mental demands and more cognitive space, rather than possessing superior memory hardware. Losing a thought is a byproduct of a high cognitive load mind, a brain attempting to manage an immense volume of mental weight.